Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to take a look at another new release from PNSO. It's their new 135 scale museum line, Lucas the Giganotosaurus. The releases are coming hard and fast from PNSO. I just got in the Giganotosaurus and Chunkingosaurus 2-pack in a few days ago, and now I just got this gorgeous figure in. If you want to check out the review on the 2-pack I just mentioned, I'll leave a link up here if you want to check it out. This Giganotosaurus is another fine addition to their museum line. I gotta say, I am more impressed with this figure than I initially thought I would be. I do like Giganotosaurus. I feel like almost every company has made a Giganotosaurus so far. So when PNSO released this one, I actually held off for a few days before I finally bit and ordered it because I already have a few really nice Giganotosaurus models. But as with all the museum line figures, it comes in a nice collector's box, which is right here. It features a nice full art of Lucas, and on the bottom of the box you got the PNSO logo, Dinosaur Museum, Lucas the Giganotosaurus 135 scientific art model, and on the back, as always, is just some product information in English and Chinese. And as always with the PNSO models, you get a booklet with some nice full color photos and some information about Lucas, and you get a nice skeletal in each booklet of the dinosaur that you got. So now getting back to the model, I have to say this is one of the rare cases that the final product actually looks better than the promotional images. When I took this out of the box, usually, PNSO has the stigma of their products, even though they are very well detailed and well sculpted, the paint schemes really don't match up to the promotional images that they show online and on the packaging. And I gotta say, this does look different than the promotional images, but it looks a lot better in hand. But before we go into the details of the model, you can see this figure comes posed on a really nice base. It is in a walking pose with its right foot barely lifting off the ground. It's actually being supported by the toe on this side and this rock underneath its foot. So let me just detach it from the base for a second and we'll get a better look at the base. And I know I said in my Giganotosaurus review that base was one of the better bases that I've seen, and I gotta say, I like this base a lot more. It looks like a dry riverbed. You got a lot of cracked, sun-dried mud. You got some dinosaur bones bleaching in the sun. You got a nice footprint where that foot goes in, and you have a metal rod that inserts into the foot, and you got a lot of nice colors and textures on this base. A really, really well done base. And you can see right in front of the rock here, there's 3 little indentations, and that's where his toe claws will seat when you put him on the base. And I gotta say one thing, when I got Lucas out of the box, he did not stand on this base very well. When I inserted the rod into his foot, you can see the hole right here. That's where the rod goes. Let me just get it in there. His foot, however it was molded, was too far back, and this foot was hovering off the ground like that, and it would cause him to lean forward and pop off the rod and fall. So what I had to do was run this foot under very hot water for a couple minutes to soften the plastic. I ended up pushing it about a 1/4 inch forward, ran it in cold water, and it has been standing fine since then. Just trying to get him on the base. Push a little force to get him in there. And as you can see, he fits on the base really well with that modification. And before we take a closer look at the model, let's start with some measurements. Lucas is 15 inches right in the dot from the tip of his snout to the tip of his tail. And he is about 5 inches tall at the top of the head. And using those measurements, that would put, if you're using the 43-foot size estimate for Giganotosaurus, this will actually make this model 135 scale. Now, there's always been a lot of debate about the size of Giganotosaurus ever since it was discovered. Only about 70% of the skeleton is known, so the exact size of this animal is not concrete. It's always changing depending which paleontologist is studying the animal. Some say, it's 43 feet long. I know there was another specimen found with the lower jaw was bigger than the holotype specimen. This suggests it can grow even larger, but until more complete remains are found, its size will always be up for debate because, everyone goes crazy for anything that can be bigger and scarier than a T-Rex. I have to say one thing, my favorite thing about this model right now, I absolutely love the pose. It looks so much better in person versus the promotional images. You got this nice large predator walking across a sun-baked riverbed, and it just looks great from almost any angle you have this model positioned. Really like it. Love how the foot is raised off the ground. Really, really fantastic pose. The tail is held nice and high. Yeah, definitely a really nice shelf piece. And here is Lucas off the base. We can get a nice look at his head shape, and this is a really nicely sculpted Giganotosaurus skull. Depending which paleontologist is talking about this animal, some think the skull is reconstructed too long, and the problem is the way the skull was found, the connection points to the skull aren't known, so it's tough to get a good size and shape estimate of what the head looked like. And one cool feature that's really emphasized on this model, the front of the bottom jaw on Giganotosaurus squared off. It gave it kind of a chin, and it's really emphasized on this model. If you flip it over, the bottom of the jaw is really, really shrink wrapped. You can see the perfect outline and a very deep indentation of the bottom jaw. And one new thing that I've noticed with the Giganotosaurus, that the heads have this wet gloss around it, and it really gives, around the eye, a very lifelike appearance. And you can see those nasal ridges and crest are done in a very vibrant orange color, and it is much more vibrant than it looked in the promotional images, and I really like it. It looks really, really cool. And the skull is shrink wrapped a little bit. I keep losing focus on this head every time I point at it, but you can see the inorbital fenestra is shrink wrap and a little bit around the orbit, and the mouth is articulated, and you can see those teeth are very well painted. And let me just turn them around, and you can see the inside of the mouth is very well detailed. You got a nice bright pink tongue and gums, and there's a nice wet looking sheen on those gums. And right here, let me just put the model down for a second. You can see I have a Giganotosaurus tooth right here, and the way the teeth were designed, They were basically steak knives, very thin, sharp teeth, meant to be slicing into flesh right here. And you can see along the root, this would be an indentation where another tooth would be growing in. So when this tooth fell out or broke off, this tooth, the next tooth would move into the jaw. And here it is compared to the teeth of a Tyrannosaurus Rex. You can see such a size difference between the two. This was meant to slice through flesh, and this was meant to crush bone. And this is a big tooth. I think this tooth is like almost 10 inches long. Just try to focus in on it. There we go. You can just see what a difference in size those teeth are. And looking from the front, it does have, see if I can get it on camera here, semi binocular vision, and it does have lips. I don't know where everyone stands on the lips versus no lips debate, but the young Giganotosaurus does have lips. I know their Tyrannosaurus Rex Wilson doesn't have lips, and I heard they were going to release a model with lips, and now I heard they're going to do a totally different T-Rex with lips on it, but I do like the lips on this. And moving down to the neck, you have a very strong, powerful looking neck. You have your row of spikes starting at the top of the head that continue all the way down to the tip of the tail. The body is mostly like this grayish green color. And if you look at the scales, they gave it this, like a lot of dust and dirt has built up between the scales. This is very similar. If you have the large vinyl PNSO Triceratops, this is very similar looking. You know, the base is this animal walking through a sun-baked riverbed, so all that dust and dirt could be settling into the scales. The body is a little bit shrink wrapped. You can see the shoulder blade right here and some of the ribs, but other than that, it's a very muscular looking animal. You know, Giganotosaurus had a wide looking chest, and this model does have that. You can see the 3 claws on the hands. The claws are painted. You get some more of that orange and cream color along the side of the body right here. The legs are very powerful looking. You got very thick calf muscles when viewed from the back. The feet have a lot of nice of that dirty texture between the scales. The toe claws are painted. There's some more of that green and gray blotching along the orange on the side of the animal. This is a very, very nice paint job. So much better looking than the promotional images. The tail is nice and thick. You got a cloaca slit. You got some more of that greenish gray and orange along the tail. This is a very well textured model. It feels really nice to rub your fingers across it. Very well done. Like I said earlier, I am very, very impressed with this Giganotosaurus. He is a lot better than I thought he was going to be. I'm going to pop this guy back up on his base, and we're going to move on to my favorite part comparisons. I got a bunch of other Giganotosaurus figures from other companies and some other figures to compare next to him. So let's see how he stacks up. Alright, first up is the 2017 Safari Giganotosaurus. And you can see, I mean, he is a little bit taller because he's on a higher base. They are roughly about the same size. The PNSO one is just a little bit taller when you compare them toe to toe like that. The Safari one is a really good Giganotosaurus. I really like that one from the 2017 lineup. And next up is the Eofauna, Giganotosaurus, and the PNSO is still taller, but they are about the same length. And on this one too, it does not have lips where this Giganotosaurus does. And here is the old Carnegie collection Giganotosaurus, which is, you know, the old tripod standing that I do not miss at all. And I know a lot of people are going to want to see this comparison. Let me pull the camera back for this one. Here it is with the Vitae Giganotosaurus, and this Giganotosaurus is a little bit bigger than the PNSO. I really love the Vitae Giganotosaurus, but you know, when I was researching for this review, I noticed on the Vitae they really did not do that squared off chin, and now it's really, really noticeable to me, but still a fantastic model. I'm actually glad that I saw on their Facebook page that actually going to start releasing dinosaur models again, because it's been almost a year since they've released any dinosaur models, so it's good to see Vitae back. And here it is with the other new release from PNSO, the Giganotosaurus and Trunkingosaurus. You can obviously see Lucas is a lot bigger than the Giganotosaurus. I absolutely love this 2-pack. This is definitely one of my favorite PNSO releases so far this year. And last but not least, here it is with their another new PNSO there, Spinosaurus, and obviously this figure is a lot bigger and longer than the Giganotosaurus. So another fantastic model from PNSO. So let me just see if I can get this whole Spinosaurus in the shot and get Lucas lined up next to it. And obviously you can't tell because of the perspective, but Spinosaurus is definitely like 3 or 4 inches longer than Lucas. So final thoughts on this figure. I gotta say I am way more impressed with it than I thought I would be. I just thought it'd be another, you know, nice Giganos figure, and I gotta say it looks so much better in hand. I know some people were complaining about the size of the head, and you know, the problem with that is we don't know how big the head was. There's some larger reconstructions of the head, there's some smaller reconstructions of the head. We just don't know because we don't have all the material to know exactly what it looked like. I know some people complain about this dip right here before the back, and looking at it in profile, it's really not that noticeable like it was in the promotional images. So I really think this is a absolutely fantastic Giganotosaurus model. It is definitely on par with the Eofauna and Safari and Vitae's. All those figures are great Giganotosaurus figures. You can't go wrong with any one of them. And honestly, if I had to pick one, I absolutely do love the Vitae, but I don't know, because maybe this guy is new, I'd pick Lucas if I could only have one of those Giganotosaurus figures in my collection. So that will do it for the review, guys. I have the Stegosaurus from PNSO on order. I should probably have that in another week or two. These are taking a lot longer now to come from China. I ordered this guy off of Amazon. He is about $65. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to order him. I'm sure, I know in a couple more weeks, Everything Dinosaur will be getting them in too, so you can order from them if you're outside the US. I'm still waiting for the Ankylosaurus. I know I've been saying that for the last few reviews. I ordered it probably about 2 weeks before I ordered Lucas. It left the facility. I have no idea where it is. I'm probably going to contact the seller tomorrow and try to figure out what's going on with it. Hopefully it turns up soon, because I've been really wanting to get my hands on that because of the new smaller line from PNSO. So that will do it for the review, guys, and as always, don't forget to like and subscribe. I got some more good reviews planned for this week, and I'll see you guys for the next one.